You know, the floor of fandom has to be pretty low if one of your best players, arguably your best player, gets suspended for 3 games, and we Saints fans are actually celebrating that. Like, we're like, yes, 3 games for Alvin Kamara. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the John Barnes Show. I'm sure you guys have heard the news by now. Saints running back Alvin Kamara, just announced by the NFL, will be suspended for the first 3 games of the 2023 season, meaning he will miss the Tennessee Titans game, the Carolina Panthers game on Monday Night Football, and when the Saints travel to the Green Bay Packers. He will return to action in Week 4 against, of all teams, those damn Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And you would think, right, again, that our best player being suspended for 3 games, that our fan base would be down in the dumps. Not at all. Not at all. We're Saints fans. Shit, we was expecting half a season. I remember when Alvin Kamara in the news first came out, some fans were saying, oh, man, he might be suspended for the year or his career might be over because he's got to go to jail and all that stuff. And, we'll get to that in a little bit because my argument was always, come on, guys, it was a fight. Like, okay, who hasn't had a wild night in Vegas before, right? I mean, they got a whole damn movie franchise about having a wild night in Vegas. So, it ain't like he killed somebody. Now, he did whip that ass. He did whip that ass. Him and his crew whipped that ass pretty seriously. But, it wasn't like life or death thing. Could have been. If they would have kept whooping his ass, it would have been a life or death thing. But, it was just one of those wild Vegas nights. And we live in New Orleans. So, I mean, I dare anybody to look at me in the face and say you never had a wild night on Bourbon Street, right? It happens. It's not something that you welcome or that you want, especially from your franchise player, the guy who is arguably probably the face of the franchise right now, but it happens. But for us, what up, my dog Royce Witter is in a building. Let me tell you something. Royce right now is in Detroit. So for him to join this live stream right now when he's busy meeting one of his favorite wrestlers of all time in Seth Rollins is pretty crazy. What up, Royce? I see a lot of people in the chat already. What y'all doing on a Friday, man? Shouldn't y'all all be at work? I see my dog, St. John Butler. Y'all go check out his YouTube channel. In my opinion, the most underrated Saints channel out there right now. I see Vito in the house. I see my girl, Kimberly. What up, Kimberly? And I see Lil J 2005. Welcome, you guys. Thank you for joining this breaking news stream, I guess, the big news. So we had 2 big stories today. We're going to talk about Alvin Kamara's right now, but we also had a more positive story, which was that one of the greatest Saints of all time, in my opinion, the top 5 New Orleans Saint of all time, Cam Jordan, is re-signing with the Saints, and essentially his contract now goes into year 15 where he plans to retire. He said he's going to see how his body feels after his 15 year, and maybe he might give a 16 or 17 year, but his goal is to get to 15 years, and he wanted to do it only wearing a black and gold. And we are going to give Cam Jordan all of the flowers that he deserves later on in this podcast. But that's just the good news to have, especially when technically this is bad news about Alvin Kamara being suspended. But yet again, because the floor of the New Orleans Saints fan base is so damn, it's not a hard floor to meet. So for Roger Goodell, folks, only gave Alvin Kamara 3 games. This is Roger Goodell we're talking about. A Saints can so much as sneeze the wrong way, and Roger Goodell would give him 6 games, 7, 8 games, right? So I'm genuinely surprised. Now, my optimism got a little bit higher when the report came out last week that Alvin Kamara was going to meet Roger Goodell one-on-one to discuss the suspension and what happened that fateful night in Vegas. And, I mean, everybody has probably seen multiple Alvin Kamara interviews before. I felt a little optimistic after hearing that report because how can you not be charmed by the wit and intelligence and just the charisma and energy that Alvin Kamara exudes? But this is Roger Goodell we were talking about, right? So I wasn't like getting my hopes up. I was hoping, like, my best case scenario for me was like, if we get 4 games, that we should have a parade. So when I saw 3 games, I was shocked. Like, I am still genuinely shocked. 3 games and then it's not like Alvin could have lied and say, oh, what the alleged victim story says doesn't collaborate with how I saw the night win. No, they caught him on camera. You can go on TMZ and see the footage. Like, they caught you in 4K, buddy. You and your crew whooped that guy's ass. And I was like, oh yeah, there's no coming back from that. Like, he's gotta face some time. But I mean, shout out to Alvin Kamara, shout out to his legal team because they were able to settle the case out of court. And now that this suspension has been announced. Essentially, Kamara can just put the whole thing behind him. Hopefully, he learns from it. I'm still surprised that he even found himself in that position, to be honest with you, because Kamara has always preached, and I always thought he was one of the smarter young players in the league who preach like avoiding situations like that and not putting yourself in a situation where you're gonna be putting your career in jeopardy. But like, hey, we're all human. We all make mistakes. And like I say, who hasn't had a wild night out before? Especially when you're rich, you got money, your posse with you. And people, especially when you got money, everybody's always looking at you trying to start some shit, right? Either on some hater shit, either on some opportunity shit. Like, oh, I can make some money if I, go at this guy and, try to get him to give me a reaction or whatever. And we're only human. There's only so much we can take. And that guy just happened to catch Kamara on the right night, or maybe the bad night. After you saw the pictures of how the victim looked after the incident, but he got his payday out of it. Kamara cannot put the whole thing behind him. 3 games is a miracle for the New Orleans Saints, and yes, AP is Vegas. For a New Orleans Saints player to essentially be caught in 4K doing something like that and only getting 3 games after all is said and done, that is a miracle. And it also goes into my next theory. I tweeted this. Go on my Twitter at John. Is it Twitter? Is it X now? Your mama call you Twitter, or your mama named you Twitter? I'm gonna call you Twitter. Go on my Twitter. I tweeted, Sean Payne not here no more, folks. Sean Payne definitely not here no more. So maybe Roger Goodell is actually finally going a little bit lenient on us, right? Because I feel like if Sean Payne was the coach, it would have been a 6-game suspension. I don't know. It just seems like Goodell really doesn't like Sean Payne. And because Sean Payne was our coach, our franchise as a whole had to take the fall for anything. Anything that we thought was small would be a huge deal to the NFL because they hate Sean Payne so much. So I guess that's just Denver's problem now, huh? Like, have fun with that, Denver. Don't get me wrong. I miss and I will continue to miss Sean Payne. Like, I'll deal with the BS that the NFL throws our way in exchange for having a top 5 coach. But it is nice to be in a position where it feels like the league doesn't seem to hate you that much that they can show us a little bit of leeway that I know every fan base thinks that the NFL was out to get them, right? But I mean, can any other fan base name a time where the Super Bowl was essentially a guarantee and the NFL and the referees literally took it away from them, And it's funny how fans always say get over it, but I say put yourselves in that position. If you are a fan, blood, sweat, and tears, and that might be extremism saying blood, sweat, and tears, but like the 2018 season was a ride. It was a ride, and it drained us, and we were finally about to reach the end, the light at the end of the tunnel, the promised land. They call that obvious pass interference. Will Lutz strides out to the field. It's like a 23-yard field goal he would have had to make. Now, I know Will Lutz ain't nothing guaranteed with him, unfortunately, but, you would think that Will Lutz, it would have been a piece of cake field goal off to Atlanta. We would have went to face Tom Brady, and nobody cannot convince me that the Saints would not have won that Super Bowl, especially on a 2-week rest to get the older guys some time to rest up. That Super Bowl was ours. And so for them to have taken that away from us, I'm always going to be bitter about that. And I always feel like Saints fans have the most legit reason to have the conspiracy theories, if that's what you want to call it, that the league is out to get them. Because even after 2018, we all see how the referees always treat the Saints, right? And a part of that was because again, I just think human nature takes over. Like, yes, referees are paid to be unbiased, but when you have a coach like Sean Payne who is constantly giving them shit, and Sean Payne is constantly giving the NFL front office shit. And it was reported that after the 2018 NFC Championship game, which Sean Payne had every right to do this, by the way, he called the head of officiating, El Riveron, and they say like it was one of the most vicious and vile, tangents that Sean Payne or a human being, period, can have on another person. And you can't tell me as a human being if somebody else is calling you probably all types of F words, and Lord knows what Sean Payne say to Al Riveron, the head of the NFL officiating, that you're not going to have, your human bias take over and you be like, well, screw you then. And, maybe have a little bit of motivation, if you will, to be like, okay, I'll show you and your team, right? Like, screw y'all then. So it was always kind of ironic to me, like we got screwed in the 2018 NFC Championship game, and our reward for that was continuing to get screwed over by the NFL and the referees. But Sean Payne is gone now, so hopefully that's Denver's problem now. I mean, sheesh. And maybe this was the first way of us to see that, Sean Payton is gone is that Alvin Kamara only got 3 games. That is absolutely crazy. So let me know in the comments, guys. What do you guys think about the suspension? Are you happy with the news? Do you think that 3 games still might be too much? There might be some fans that say that 3 games is too little. Maybe not Saints fans, but there might be some fans that say, now hold on, how can somebody be caught on camera beating up and physically assaulting somebody, and the punishment is only 3 games? I actually saw some Bucks fans, of course, on Twitter already complaining that 3 games was too lenient and that the Saints were being favored by the NFL. Yeah, I mean, how often do we know that the NFL just loves the Saints, right? Give me a break. But I mean, I want to hear you guys' opinion. So I see AP says Sean wore a Roger Goodell clown shirt to a press conference. Of course, and again, AP, right? Like, it's human nature. Like, yes, Roger Goodell and the NFL head of officials and all that, they're supposed to be politically correct and say, oh, yeah, none of that bothers us. It is what it is. It's a competitive league. We get it. We're not going to be the most liked people in our positions. But human nature is human nature, man. There's only so many times somebody can say, F you, screw you, you're a clown, et cetera, and you not take a little bit of it to heart and be like, well, F you too then, So, I can't scientifically prove it. I'm sure all other 31 opposing fan bases think that I'm one of those tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist fans. It's like, the NFL is out to get my team. Maybe I am. But you cannot convince me otherwise that, with Sean Payton as our coach, the NFL and the officials had a little bit of animosity towards us, and that carried over on Sundays sometimes. I mean, it's actually a testament to Sean Payton, honestly, and our team, that we were still able to win all those NFC South championships and make the playoffs all the times we did, knowing that we were not the favorites of the New York office in the NFL. What's up, Track Star? What's up, Omega? Great to see you guys in the house. I know it's, again, a very, very impromptu live stream right now, especially on a Friday. But it is Friday afternoon. We are all about to officially become free agents, I guess, for the weekend, because once that clock hits 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, hell, some people probably saying, let's fuck this shit o'clock right now, and saying the weekend starts now, baby. So I appreciate you all in the chat right now. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, if you're here on the algorithm because you search Alvin Kamara suspended, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And also, if you are a diehard, there was only one way, I believe, and I might be biased, but there was only one way to celebrate the fact that Alvin Kamara only got 3 games, and that is with your official This Shit More Than a Game merch. You guys see the barcode right there. Take out your phones if you're watching this on your computer. Simply scan that barcode, and it will take you to the site where you can get this exclusive This Shit More Than a Game shirt. Honestly, I think that's what Alvin Kamara probably told Roger Goodell when they had met last week. He probably said, Roger, look, I was in Vegas. I had a few drinks. This guy was talking trash to me and my crew. I had to let him know this shit more than a game. So why not celebrate it, folks, by buying your exclusive This Shit More Than a Game merch only for the low, low price of $28.03. You hear that, guys? $28.03. That is how much this shirt costs. Go ahead, support your boy. I've had rave reviews about people who have received their shirts so far. You got to get it in time for week 1 of the season, man, so you can wear it, especially if you're going to a away game. Like, imagine you coming to Atlanta and their stadium and wearing this shit, right? Like, they going to know, oh, we ain't going to want to start no shit with that guy, because them Saints fans know that this shit more than the game. So go purchase your shirt, folks. Again, the barcode right there. If you're not on your phone, you can just put your phone up to your computer right now and scan it. Or you can go on my website, which is, I'll put this up too. Well, no, that's just another barcode, but it is. Just go on all my social media platforms at Jono Barnes. I have the link in essentially all of my bios. Actually, if you go down and you see the description of this video, the link to this shirt is also in the description right now, so you cannot miss it. No excuses, folks. The shirt, $28.03. Yeah, I just got notification that somebody scanned it. So whoever scanned it, let me know, and I will give you a shout out. But let me get to some of these comments, and then we'll take a quick break, and then we will talk some technically more positive news. Because it's funny how, again, that we are like, this is positive news. AK only got 3 games, but there's some real positive news that came out earlier this morning that we'll get to in a little bit. AP says 3 games is the equivalent of what PJ Williams got for a DUI. And actually, now that you mentioned PJ Williams, it's kind of funny that he's a free agent. I think that it's kind of good that PJ Williams has not been signed by anybody else yet, so that said, knowing the Saints, like, injuries do happen. it's nice to have somebody on call, like say November when the dog days of the NFL season are happening and the wear of attrition starts to play in, and maybe we need to call up PJ Williams to come, who's familiar with our system, to play some games for us because Lattimore or Roby, Alante Taylor, or somebody might be nursing some injuries or whatnot. So I'm kind of sad that nobody has signed them, but it's also a positive for us as a fan base that if injuries come apart of this team, which we all know that usually happens, we'll have PJ Williams on speed dial to come and help us out. But yes, PJ Williams was indeed facing a felony charge. Excuse me, Alvin was facing a felony charge at first with this, so this is a very, very lenient suspension from Roger Goodell, and it's a very good thing. Again, like very rarely do you celebrate one of your best players getting a 3-game suspension, but we're the Who Dat Nation. We are a different breed, and we will be celebrating only 3 games for Alvin Kamara. Vito in the house says the Saints and Lions have been the most hated teams by refs, the most ghost penalties in the last few years. I cannot speak for the Lions. I do know that they are one of probably the most grief-stricken fan bases and franchises of all time. I don't even, respect to the Lions, but I feel like the Saints, we are on a different stratosphere, right? Because the Saints, we've been contending. The Lions haven't contended in years, and last year was one of their best years in a long time. And they didn't even make the playoffs last year, and that was one of their best years, right? Which is why the hype is so crazy for Detroit right now, is that they can have a season where they won, I believe, 8 of their last 10 games, didn't make the playoffs, but it was seen as a huge, monumental season for the Lions, where now the Lions hype is out of control right now. So now, Vito, we will see just how much the Lions are hated by the refs, because now the referees, if they really do hate the Lions, have a legitimate excuse to screw them over if they are as hated as you think they are, because they are supposed to be one of the top teams in the NFC this year. So we will see. I kind of have my doubts. I feel like the hype for the Lions train is taking a way too fast turn, but we will see. And that's for another discussion for another show. What's up, Mikey? Slim South, my dude. Slim South. I also appreciate that any video that I do, you comment on, whether it's a Saints video or non-Saints video. That always means the world to me. So shout out to you, Slim South. I don't be showing you enough love, Slim South, but that always makes me feel pretty good that, I can do a random video that may not be of interest to people who subscribe because they only want to see Saints content from me, and they enjoy it. So shout out to you, Slim South. As you say, 3 games should be less, but we'll take Slim South says 3 games. Slim South wanted it to be 2 games or 1 game. I'm happy with 3, Slim South. Like 3 games is a miracle, man. We need to count our blessings, not look at the grass on the other side. Let's count the blessing of 3 games. Mikey, did I see what you said yesterday? I did not see what you're saying, Mikey. So please remind me. And Mr. Saint says, Jono, I am happy with the 3 weeks. Okay, I kind of have this thing where I gotta hide my logo because my logo on my screen is kind of blacking what you're saying. But hold on 1 second. Well, now they're saying I can't. Oh, here we go. It says, who that, John? I hope you didn't get in trouble for watching the Hall of Fame game last night. Great video. Yeah, I got in trouble on the fact that I had to sleep on my couch, but it is what it is, man. This shit more than a game. I keep telling my wife that too. I'm like, dude, you know what kind of household you married into. I didn't hide who I was from my wife. I told her from the get-go, I said, this shit is more than a game. So that's on her, dude. That's on her. And all of these videos that you guys might see on my channel of me and my wife, those aren't skits. Those aren't orchestrated. Those aren't acting. Like, those are legitimate videos. She takes videos and she documents it to show our marriage therapist because she thinks I have a problem. I don't know. Let me know in the comments, guys. Do you think I have a problem? Do you think I'm too much of a fanatic? I don't think so. She apparently does. So she kind of like documents throughout the season or throughout the whole year, honestly, like bouts we have where she thinks I'm being too radical. I don't see it. Like, come on, now it's the first preseason game. No offense to my wife, lovely, beautiful woman. I can sleep with her any time of the year. There's only one time out the year where the NFL has their first preseason game. It's priorities, man. It's priorities. My wife be tripping, dog. My wife be tripping, but my pain is y'all's enjoyment. So I hope you guys enjoy it because I got a funny feeling, wink, 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 that you're gonna see a lot more videos of the adventures of Dwayne Barnes and his wife this 2023 season. Y'all pray for me. Y'all please pray for me. All right, so I'm going to take a quick break right quick, folks, and then we're going to come back and we're going to discuss a lot more positive news, okay? And I'm sure you guys saw the news earlier today, and this is somebody who truly, truly deserves their flowers. We will get to that in about 1 minute, folks.
Oh, come on, man, tackle him! You know he put your arms around your heart.
This shit more than a game, man! Ah, yes. We've all been there before. This shit is more than a game, man. And now, these shirts are more than a game. But did you know that this merch wasn't made only for sportswear? No sirree. This shit more than a game is a lifestyle brand. You can wear the shirts for anything, such as going shopping, working out, this shit more than a game, doing chores, setting the mood. Oh yeah, that's that thing I like. Changing a tire. Robbing a bank. Go, 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 go! Jumping a Falcons fan. And so much more. So purchase your official This Shit More Than a Game merch today for the low starting point of $28.03 and let the world know this shit more than a game. Warning, please see a doctor if you feel you've gone too far with taking this shit more than a game. This Shit More Than a Game is not associated or licensed with any organization or entity except for John Bones LLC. This Shit More Than a Game is not responsible for any fights caused by the shirts. John Bones LLC does not promote or recommend violence of any kind unless it's at the expense of a Falcons fan. See, I don't get it, man. Like I don't get how my wife can help me with a commercial like that, but then she gets all mad when I want to watch NFL preseason over having sexy time with her. Make it make sense, folks. Make it make sense. But you guys saw the commercial and you see the link at the bottom. johnobons-shop.fortwall.com for your exclusive This Shit More Than a Game shirt, only for the low price of $28.03. Help your boy out, support your boy. I try to make the shirts as fun and as cheap as possible for you guys so it doesn't put a dent in your wallets. It is Friday, right? So I know a lot of you guys just got paid today. So what better way to celebrate payday / Alvin Kamara's night in Vegas that only got him 3 games? Plus, the big news of the day, which is Cam Jordan is a New Orleans Saint for life. Yes, folks, I'm sure you guys have saw the news by now. Cam Jordan signed a 2-year contract extension today, which will essentially guaranteed, unless something crazy happens, finish out his what will be 15-year career as a New Orleans Saint. It is extremely rare in any sport this day and age for a player to play one franchise their whole career. I can count maybe on one hand who I know off the top of my head who did it, which is Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant. In the Saints case, I know Deuce played his whole career here, but it is extremely, extremely rare. And it is just awesome. There was like no player who, one, embodies the This Shit More Than the Game spirit more than Cam Jordan. But 2, one of the greatest Saints players of all time, right? Like you don't make it to 15 potential years in the NFL without being great. And Cam Jordan is great. Cam Jordan is actually better than great. It actually kind of sparked a debate on Twitter today because on the announcement tweets from Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport, they put future Hall of Famer Cam Jordan, which of course got a lot of the non-Saints fans kind of being antagonistic and saying, oh no, Cam Jordan isn't a Hall of Famer. Now that's a topic I guess we can do for another day because I am biased. In my opinion, Cam Jordan is absolutely Cam Jordan is a Hall of Famer. But I also know that to the other 31 teams, Cam Jordan was never, unfortunately, hyped up like a J.J. Watt or a Von Miller, right? And don't get me wrong, J.J. Watt and Von Miller deserved all the hype in their careers that they got. But Cam Jordan was never quite, unfortunately, seen on that level. Even though if you look at the stats, Cam Jordan is right up there with both of them guys. Actually, I believe Cam Jordan has more sacks than J.J. Watt. Now, granted, Cam Jordan played more games. But yes, I mean, again, that's not to take anything from like Von Miller and J.J. Watt because Von Miller is a Hall of Famer. J.J. Watt is a Hall of Famer. And you better damn well believe Cam Jordan is a Hall of Famer. But I am not shocked that the opposing fans are kind of like, wait a minute, we never really thought of the idea of Cam Jordan being a Hall of Famer because the media never really celebrated Cam Jordan as one of the elite defensive players in the league. He was always seen as a very good to great player, but never in that top echelon player, you know, one of those defensive player of the year type candidate players of the year. We knew, we seen it every Sunday. But opposing fans then, and what I like about Cam Jordan is that the dude is a warrior, man. in a city where apparently our franchises are curse ridden with injuries constantly. Cam Jordan has only missed 2 games in his career. One was for COVID, which he said he felt fine, but this was during the time where if you had any type of positive COVID test, you had to sit out a game. And the other was because a freak injury where his eye was shut, goggled at, and he even tried to play that week, but the team said, "Nah, Cam, sit it out." And good for the team because last season wasn't worth any type of playing through injuries. How crappy we were last year. But to be an Iron Man, man, like Cam Jones is an Iron Man. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that from him, and I appreciate that from Demario Williams. Excuse me, guys. I'm thinking Demario Williams, the one that the Texans took over Reggie Bush. Demario Davis. Those two. I'm very, especially in the day and age where we have to sit through the frustration of Zion Williamson always being hurt, or any of the Saints players constantly being hurt, to have the assurance of someone like Cam Jordan out there every Sunday and Demario Davis. I mean, I've learned to value that so much more in 2023 than I probably used to value that when I was a kid or whatnot. So, I mean, shit, the dude should be a Hall of Famer just for him being an Iron Man alone, right? Like the NFL is a brutal sport. The NFL is a brutal sport. And now that it's 17 games, it's an even more brutal sport. And for Cam Jordan and Demario Davis to be out there every Sunday, giving it their all, man, that is invaluable. And that Cam Jordan is easily a top 5 New Orleans Saint, in my opinion. Easily. Today confirmed it, right? Like him being able to finish out his career here, we're never going to be able to say that we saw Cam Jordan in any other team colors unless somebody photoshopped it. And that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I am so glad that he got his money. I'm so glad that he has embraced the city of New Orleans, because Lord knows we are not an easy city to embrace. And we give valid reasons why we are not a great city to embrace all the time. But Cam Jordan absolutely deserves it. He's a great guy from all of the things I've seen about him. I call him my spirit animal sometimes because his sense of humor and his charisma and his comedy seems to be very fitting to the type of comedy and sense of humor that I have. So I would love to act. I've met him a few times. He won't remember because I mean he meets a ton of fans all the time. But I've met him a few times, and his energy is always just contagious. And I'm not gonna ever hold him to it. Get my hopes up too much. But I remember earlier this offseason, a fan had which made me feel good. Told Cam, "Yo, Cam, you need to do a collaboration with Jono one day." And Cam actually responded and said he would do it in the this forthcoming offseason. He was already prepared for this upcoming 2023 season. Now, I'm not going to hold Cam to that because NFL players and athletes in general are just real busy. So I'm not going to act like he has allowance to me or whatnot to now fulfill this potential collaboration. But it would be dope. It would be dope. And Cam, whenever Cam calls me, gets his people to DM me or whatever and says, "Yo, Cam wants to do something with you," I will be there at a moment's notice because Cam will be doing me a favor. And like I'm doing Cam a favor by potentially collaborating. I remember also Cam said that it would have to be a short video because my videos go long. I don't know, my videos go long. Now my live streams go long and my reaction videos definitely go long, but my reaction videos are reaction videos. Those are supposed to go long. I'm reacting to a full game. My skits and stuff, though, those are pretty short. So Cam will have nothing to worry about with that. But imagine that, folks. Imagine a day we might possibly see Cam Jordan and John Barnes doing a content piece together. I know you guys would absolutely love that. And it's all off the strength of you guys, right? Like the fact that Cam Jordan even knows my content exists. It's because of supporters like you guys who help me out by subscribing, by following, by showing me love in the algorithm, by pushing my stuff out there that, you can't help but see what's happening with the this shit mode in the game movement going on right now. So shout out to you guys, but shout out to Cam Jordan, man. Like that alone makes him one of my favorite players. That he showed me love on Twitter and said that he possibly wouldn't mind collaborating with me one day. But just from his football accolades alone, he is absolutely one of the greatest Saints of all time, a top 5 Saint in my opinion, and a Hall of Famer for sure. Let me get to some of these comments right quick. Mikey said, because I know Mikey says he roasted and destroyed RJ for being ridiculous. Who's RJ, Mikey? Slim South says, yes, Cam is a Saint for life. Mr. Saint says that my content reminds him of him and his wife. Yeah, I kind of like that. The stuff that me and my wife put out there is something that is very relatable to a lot of you guys and how maybe your marriages are. So use our pain for your entertainment, like I said. Valente Talks says that Cam Jones is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't know if he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, unfortunately, because the Hall of Fame is extremely hard to get in, and the threshold is really, really tough. And you have to be like and again, in our opinion, Cam is, but you have to be like a no-brainer type. Like Drew Brees is a no-brainer Hall of Famer, right? One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I don't think the media, unfortunately, will see Cam Jordan as a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I do think he's going to get in eventually. Like I don't think it's going to be more than 3 or 4 years of his eligibility where he's going to get that call that he's going to Canton, Ohio. Mikey says that Cam is an automatic Hall of Famer. Valente asks me, do you think that DA gets too much crap? You're asking the wrong guy. First off, Valente. He says DA went 7-10 with an injury-riddled team with Andy Dalton at the helm. Well, Valente, possibly. Let me put your comment up. Possibly because, of course, he gets a lot of crap because I'm the crap server. I'm the one who gives DA all the crap. Shit, I give DA some crap now. I don't know if you watching my channel last season. I don't know if you're new to the channel or not, but last season, brother, I was probably the biggest Saints content creator out there. I guess that was really hard on DA, and I don't take any of it back. I really don't. Dude has had 4 years as a head coach, and he has had horrible record all 4 years, and there's only so many excuses you can give. The NFL is not for long. It ain't fair too. NFL is many things, but it ain't fair. I keep saying that. So I feel like we do this for all the people who wear black and gold. Like, oh, Jameis didn't get a fair. Jameis is in what, year 8? Like, dude, it's the NFL. You only got a short window to prove you are that guy or you're not. Jameis is unfortunate because of his injuries, but it is what it is. These executives ain't got time to wait for a perfect season for somebody, coach or player, for them to dedicate their resources to. Like, jobs are on the line here. So, that's why I feel bad for Jameis, but like, that's the NFL life. Like, you don't get the, well, in Tampa, he didn't have a running game. And here in New Orleans, he was hurt. Well, that's life. You gotta make do it with the shit that you serve sometimes. And I'm not saying that to diss Jameis. I love Jameis. I really wanted Jameis to work out here, but apparently I'm happy that he's our backup, by the way. Like, I love that. I love that he's embraced the city. And I hope that there is a day where Jameis can get another shot, but I'm not shocked that the organization went another way. Because again, the NFL is not for long. And the reason why they went another way is because Dennis Allen knows that the NFL is not for long. And this is probably his last shot, which is why we have John Gruden in the building right now, given all the uproar that's caused, because Dennis Allen's like, I don't give a shit. My job is on the line. I'm going to bring every resource possible to try to have a winning season. The same way Dennis Allen tried to bring Deshaun Watson and all his sexual assault cases to New Orleans last season, because he is like, I have a job on the line and I have to do what I have to do. So, no, I do not think Dennis Allen gets too much crap. I think he gets the right serving of crap. Again, very rarely have I ever seen a coach get 5 years as a head coach. I know 3 of them was in Oakland, but it don't matter. 5 years as a head coach, 0 playoff appearances, 0 winning records. Dennis Allen is lucky. Never feel bad for Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen is lucky. I don't know how many coaches ever got. I promise you, it's only you can count on one hand how many coaches get that many chances to prove themselves, right? So, no, there is no injury excuse, and there's no excuse this year either. Like, it's put up a shut up time for Dennis Allen. Like, if we can't win a division this year, ship his ass out. The only excuse I feel like Dennis Allen will have this year is if Derek Carr gets hurt, because when your quarterback goes down, it sucks. But hey, a lot of y'all believe in Jameis, right? So even if Derek Carr goes down, then Jameis should come right on in and keep the train going, right? So I get passionate about the Dennis Allen thing because I feel like say if Dennis Allen was a Saints coach, a Falcons coach, you guys would be giving him shit. You'll be like, how can that fan base, put their trust into a coach who has like .283? That's not even a 28-3 joke. That's literally Dennis Allen's winning percentage, I believe, is 328 or 283. A .283 or .383, 328 winning percentage. Like, what a joke of a franchise, right? But because he's wearing black and gold, we're like, yeah, well, Oakland has so much, this this craziness going on, and the Saints, we had injuries. No. You're either a good head coach or you're not. Sean Payne came and took a 3-13 team to the NFC Championship in his first year, a team coming off a hurricane-stricken year. Like, you either got it or you don't. That's my rule in the NFL. Like, some players do take time to come into form, but I feel like you should get a 2 or 3 year window in the NFL, and you either got it or you don't. And all that hopeless, well, he has potential. Well, if you're going into year 4 and you're still doing the potential thing, or you're trying out every excuse possible for why this player or this coach hasn't succeeded, well, then you know what? You're probably in a losing battle. And that's just the reality of it. Now, I will say this. Said it multiple times. If Dennis Allen kicks ass this year, my apology will be as loud as a disrespect. I want Dennis Allen to prove me wrong. I want Dennis Allen to prove me wrong. I want Dennis Allen to make me look stupid. Please. I promise you guys, I will do a live stream. I will do a reaction video. I'll do a skit. I'll do everything. I will make my apology to Dennis Allen as loud as my quote-unquote disrespect has been. But the dude is what he is. You can only go by what the facts are when you're an NFL fan and the coach and the player presents it to you. Dennis Allen has not shown at all that he is a good head coach. I don't want to hear any of those excuses. Excuses is for losers. He's going into year 5. No more excuses. Put up a shut-up time. We all have hopes, right? We all think that we're going to be a playoff team. We all thought that last year. We all think we're going to be a playoff team, right? Put up a shut-up time. And even last year with the injuries, I'm sorry, but the NFC South was one of the worst divisions of all time. Like, we still had a shot. Like, a good coach, I guarantee you Sean Payne would have had us in the playoffs last year. Even if we would have still went 7-10 or whatever, Sean Payne would have had us in. Because I don't think Sean Payne blows that Tampa Bay Monday night game the way Dennis Allen did by deciding not to go for it on 3rd and 1 or whatever, or 4th and 1 or whatever, right? Like the football guys gave Dennis Allen so much empathy, I think, last year, even with the injuries, to say, hey, we're giving you still the worst division of all time. All you got to do is win 8 games in this crappy-ass division, and you're going to make the playoffs. And he couldn't do that. So I don't want to hear anything about injuries or, how can you win with Andy Dalton? You can win with Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton wasn't great, but he wasn't bad. So I don't want to hear that. But let's put up a shut-up time for Dennis Allen this year. You either got it, my dude, or you don't. I don't want no excuses this year. If Derek Carr gives us all 17 games, we better make the playoffs. Because if we don't, ship Dennis Allen ass out of here. Sorry for that rant. We're supposed to be celebrating Cam Jordan, but that's a good question, Valente. So thank you very much. I'm sure you guys were commenting while I was going off on my rant. So let me see if people say anything. Yes. So this is an international brand. So if you go on the website, I'm gonna put the barcode up right quick. Hold on. It is international shipping. So I do not discriminate. I've actually had some people buy it in London already. I've had somebody buy it in Australia, and I've had somebody buy it in Canada. So it would be great. Yeah, if you can be the first person to buy it in Germany, that would be great. And if you do, please go on my Twitter, folks, at Jono Barnes, and let me know. I've definitely been trying to show love to everybody who's purchased a shirt. I want to see you guys rocking the shirt. And Lord willing, if I'm in the city and you guys are at a game or something and I'll run into you or whatnot, we can definitely take a picture. So y'all see the barcode right there. The shirt is only $28.03. Now, I do not control the shipping. I do not control the international fees. I'm sorry. Blame the government for whatever they charge you for that. But I charge $28.03 for the shirt, and I'm not even getting the full. Like, I tried to make the shirt as affordable as possible because, again, transparently, I'm not making that much money from each sale. I get a little bit of some lunch money every time, a shirt is sold, but I'm not like racking in the dough. I did this shirt for you guys because you guys have shown me so much love. So I wanted to do something fun and creative where you guys can kind of get a give back from me, from being my huge supporters. I appreciate the hell out of all of you guys. And I hope that you guys really do enjoy the This Shit More Than a Game shirt, because this shit more than a game is a lifestyle. Remember that. This shit more than a game is a lifestyle. So yes, I do international shipping. I would appreciate any sale, whether it be from Germany, New Orleans, Texas, Miami, Florida, anywhere. I would appreciate the sales, guys. Thank you. Valente says, I do think it should be much better now that Derek is our quarterback. He's much better than Andy. Absolutely correct. Everyone is going to be healthy. Let's not say that. Let's not say that. We're New Orleans sports fans. Never, ever, ever count on health. Matter of fact, you should probably go into the season knowing that we're going to be healthy, so that if we are healthy, it'll be a great, great, great surprise, right? A welcome surprise to us. And if we're not healthy, well, then at least we had known that we were walking into that BS to begin with. The team is deep. I do agree that I think we have a better team than we did last year, but let's put up a shuttle time. I got to see it because I drunk the Kool-Aid last year. And man, when Sean Payne retired, I was like, okay, you know what, guys, we're probably not going to be that good of a team in 2022 because you don't lose a top 5 quarterback of all time and a top 5 head coach in the NFL and think that you're going to keep moseying along like everything's fine. But the Saints if they're anything, they're PR geniuses because they sold the hell out of me on last offseason. We're like, oh, we got Tyrann Mathieu, we got Jarvis Landry, get hyped. The Saints ain't gonna miss a step. And I drank the Kool-Aid, and that Kool-Aid wind up being sour as hell by October. So I do think the team is better this year, but I'm also very guardedly optimistic this year. Whereas if we are going to be a bad team, I'm not going to be too shocked because, again, Dennis Allen has shown me as a head coach what his teams look like for 4 years now. So, fool me once, shame on you, right? Fool me twice. Then if anybody is caught off guard if the Saints wind up not living up to expectations this year, then that's actually a personal problem that you guys need to look in the mirror about because it's not like we have the evidence of what the worst case scenario could be for the Saints in 2023. Young City Nightwall, what up, my homie? Says, I can't wait for us to play like AK gonna be out for 3 games. That's okay. He gonna be back in week 4. Yep, he will be back in week 4. And then you know what? It's a blessing too because one, I think 17 games is too damn much to begin with. The NFL is the most barbaric sport in the world. 17 games is freaking crazy to me. The NFL preaches that player safety shit, but to preach player safety and to add a 17th game, that's crazy to me. And I know they're actually trying to add an 18th game. Like, goddamn, by the time the playoffs start, it's going to be a freaking infamy of what's left on the roster by the teams that make the playoffs. Like, that's just absolutely crazy to me. So I'm glad that AK in the glass half full way is going to miss the first 3 games. So that means he doesn't have to deal with the wear and tear of a full 17 game season. And that way he can only play, hopefully, the remaining 14 games and, not be limping to the finish line should we make the playoffs in January. So there is a bit of a positive aspect to the 3-game suspension with that. It's also going to give Jamal Williams a chance to shine as the number 1 back, and it's going to give Kendre Miller. We're going to see right away if the hype for him as a rookie is the real deal or not, because he's definitely going to have his chance to make an impression and show the coaching staff and show the Saints fans that he is indeed the future. So it'll be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting. But yes, the positivity about Alvin Kamara missing 3 games is that, he's definitely going to come into the season come October with fresh legs. And I even tweeted, I say, man, if Dennis Allen can have us at 2-1 or 3-0 upon Kamara's return, oh man, the city's going to be on fire, right? Like imagine that your team is 2-1 or 3-0 and you're getting your best player back. Like, come on, man, that's going to be crazy. So do that for me, Dennis Allen, and I'll start my apology tour. Slim South says he agrees with me. I appreciate that, Slim South. Mikey, you keep saying RJ. What's RJ? All right, hold on. Here we go. Sorry, I keep missing your comment, Mikey. RJ said the Saints suck. Derek Carr's the worst quarterback ever and disrespected New Orleans, so I destroyed. Now, who is RJ though, Mikey? Is this just some scrub that we shouldn't be giving our attention to, or is this like a media analyst or something? Valente, I tell you what, if Cam Jones ever did truly rep this shit mode in the game, he would move up the list to my number 1 Saint of all time, which brings me to my next discussion, by the way, folks. Let me read one more comment. All right, so what is the prove me wrong criteria for DA? It's simple, Valente. Make the playoffs. I'm not asking for the number 1 seed. I'm not asking for the Super Bowl. Make the playoffs. Win the NFC South. Even you know what? Not even win the NFC South. Even if we make it as a wild card, make the playoffs. That is my criteria for Dennis Allen. Make the playoffs. Make the playoffs, and I promise you, I will apologize to him. Make the playoffs, though. You got to make the playoffs. I don't need the number 1 seed. I don't need the Super Bowl. I would love it. Shit, hell yeah, I'll take it. If he wins the Super Bowl, oh my God, not even an apology, dude. I'd go to his house and freaking serenade him with an orchestra or something. Apologize. Y'all know that Anita Baker song? I apologize. Yeah, I'll sing that to him in his face if he wins the Super Bowl. Nah, but just make the playoffs. Make the playoffs, and he wins me over, right? The bare minimum. The bare minimum. Make the playoffs. So okay, Mikey, if RJ is a Giants fan, then you ain't even got to worry about him. He's a Giants fan. So I have a question for you guys before we sign out. So like I said, Cam Jordan, again, very, very happy for him. Congratulations to him, to his family. The man deserves it. all this money that this man be making, he be tweeting though still as if he's like one of us common folks, like trying to make some savings and be bargaining at the airline prices and stuff. I'm like, Cam, you are a multi-millionaire. Get out of here. That just shows you that Cam Jordan is a man for the people. Cam Jordan is also a top 5 Saints of all time, and he's a Hall of Famer. I think we all agree with that. So I have a question for you guys. Though a good friend of mine on Twitter asked today, Alan. He asked, "Who are your top 5 Saints of all time?" Because he was trying to see how many people had Cam Jordan as a top 5 Saint of all time. So my homework assignment for you guys right now, folks, let me know in the chat, who are your top 5 Saints of all time? I will give mine, and then I want to see in the comments, who are your top 5 Saints of all time? So number 1, I think this is undisputable. The greatest of all time, Drew Brees. Easily the greatest Saint of all time. Number 1, probably on my list and 99% of other Saints fans' list. Number 2, I'm assuming we can include coaches, because if we can, then Sean Payton is number 2. Greatest offensive mind in the NFL history, in my opinion. Obviously, probably going to be the greatest Saints coach of our lifetime. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we find a coach whoever does top Sean Payton, but chances are kind of slim. He's the greatest Saints coach of our lifetime. Won us our first Super Bowl. Him and Drew led us on that way. Number 2 Saint of all time is Sean Payton. Number 3, I had Ricky Jackson. Now, unfortunately, I was a kid/baby-ish when Ricky Jackson was in his prime, but I remember, being a kid and watching my parents and my uncles and aunts and all that watch the games when I was still, growing up and not really a diehard fan just yet, but knowing that, okay, this shit more than the game. I know that at a young age, even when I wasn't a diehard fan yet. And I just knew Ricky Jackson was a monster. Like, I guess I would be watching the highlights and watching some of the games sometimes when I did watch the games and just seeing how people talked about him, and he was a dog. And now that you have YouTube these days, there's no excuse for you not to go watch Ricky Jackson highlights and see just how incredible of a player he was. Man, that guy was a monster. I wish I was, of sane mind and mature when he was playing, so I could have really enjoyed his era with the Saints and the whole Dome Patrol era, to be honest. But Ricky Jackson is absolutely easily the greatest Saints defender of all time, and he is number 3 on my list. So number 1, I have Drew Brees. Number 2, I have Sean Payton. Number 3, I have Ricky Jackson. Number 4, I have Willie Roaf. Now, the offensive lineman pick is never going to be sexy, but Willie Roaf was dominant. I actually remember as a child revering Willie Roaf more than I did Ricky Jackson, because I remember I never saw one bad thing about Willie Roaf, like from the media, from the fans, or nothing. Like, every time his name would come up in conversation or discussion, it was about how dominant of an offensive tackle he was. So again, like, it's not sexy to watch offensive linemen play football. Like, nobody goes on, and unless you just want to complain about Andrews Peter something, right? Nobody goes and search Cesar Ruiz highlights or Willie Roaf highlights, but Willie Roaf was dominant, man. Willie Roaf was a dog. He's number 4 on my list. So again, number 1, Drew Brees. Number 2, Sean Payton. Number 3, Ricky Jackson. Number 4, Willie Roaf. And number 5, I have Cameron Michael Jordan. I don't know if Michael is his middle name, but it is now. Cameron Jordan is my top 5, number 5 Saint of all time. His longevity speaks for itself. The stats speak for itself. He has embraced the community. He has embraced the city. He is a great, great guy, a great, great player. He absolutely deserves a goddamn Super Bowl ring. Ironically, the 4 people I mentioned above Cam Jordan have Super Bowl rings. Now, Ricky Jackson, no way, I don't know if Willie Roaf got one. Ricky Jackson got one with San Francisco. I don't know if Willie Roaf ever got one, so ignore that. But hopefully Cam Jordan gets him a Super Bowl. He would have had one in 2018 if they would have do the goddamn flag, but whatever. Cam Jordan is number 5 on my list. He has absolutely done enough to be a top 5 Saint of all time. So again, here's my list. Number 1, Drew Brees. Number 2, Sean Payton. Number 3, Ricky Jackson. Number 4, Willie Roaf. And number 5, Cam Jordan. And Cam Jordan, if he does enough these next 2 years, he can absolutely jump Willie Roaf. Can he jump Ricky Jackson? That's going to be tough, because I don't think Cam's going to have a prime year anymore at his age where he's going to be able to supplant, in my mind, the dominance that Ricky Jackson was in his prime. But you never know. I mean, Cam might shock us and put up a 12, 13 sack season this year. You just never know. I wouldn't be surprised. Cam is a dog. But I do think Cam Jordan can jump up to number 4 on that list with 2 more strong seasons to end his career in the black and gold. And there was absolutely probably no player who I would have wanted to end his career from start to finish in the black and gold than Cam Jordan. So again, congratulations to Cam Jordan. And I am about to now see what you guys have as your top 5 Saints of all time. Mikey has number 1, Drew Brees. Number 2, Archie Manning. Number 3, Bobby Hebert. Number 4, Ricky Jackson. He did not have a number 5 spot. Or number 5, he has Willie Rowe. Good list, solid list. Bobby Hebert is a choice. I love Bobby Hebert. I don't know if even Bobby will consider himself top 5, maybe top 15-ish. Just because of the talent that we've had the past 15 years that's come into the Saints building. But Bobby Hebert was definitely a good quarterback. Valentin said, I hope I'm saying your name right, by the way, Valentin. One, I don't know if he said has this in order. I ain't going to say it in order. I counted it out. But Breeze, Ricky Jackson, Sean Payne, Cam Jordan, and Thomas Morstead. Okay, that's a good one because punters are people too. Yep. I love that brand. I think who started that brand? Rich Eisen or Pat McAfee. And he says he found himself saying, "My goat, Morstead, Thomas Morstead, excuse me." Every time he punted yesterday, hey, Thomas Morstead is definitely the greatest Saints punter of all time. Ain't no denying that. Yeah, punters are definitely an undervalued position in the NFL fandom. So I'm sure he would definitely appreciate. I'm sure he's going to be back in the city at some point, right? I feel like he's going to retire in New Orleans and live here in his post-football life. And I'm sure you might run into him one time. Definitely let him know that he's a top 5 Saint in your opinion, because I'm sure as a punter he'll be like, "Wow, all the great Saints that we've had in the building. For a fan to think that me, a punter, is the top 5 of all time, that's pretty crazy." So shout out to Thomas Morstead, man. I'm glad that he's also not with the Falcons anymore, because that was horrible. Oh, that was ugly. That almost hurt more than when Joe Horn signed, because that was Bobby Hebert was with the Falcons, and I know that hurt a lot of fans, but I was too little to really appreciate that or not appreciate that. I remember when Joe Horn signed with the Falcons, that broke my heart, because Joe Horn is probably number 6 on my list, just as a personal favorite. I mean, I feel like I'm sure Marcus Colston, and it could have been Michael Thomas, is going to be more revered than what Joe Horn's career was with the Saints. But Joe Horn was in that sweet spot of me being a kid going through puberty, I guess, where like you're already starting to see like the intricacies of the game. And so when I was becoming like a diehard, Joe Horn was that guy for me. I just botched the hell out of that word. I hope my wife didn't hear that. And so Joe Horn is like a personal I still got my Joe Horn jersey, to be honest. Like, I love me some Joe Horn. But when he put on that Falcons uniform and he played the Falcons one season, that broke my heart. I was like, ooh, that was my first heartbreak in life. I was like, okay, I see that the NFL is not, it's not for the weak of heart, that's for sure. So good list, guys. Yeah, those were some good lists. Eugene says, "Greetings from Philly, Jono. Who that nation is all about. This shit more than a life up here." Eugene, I could be wrong. I feel like I vaguely saw somebody named Eugene buy a shirt. I could be wrong. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to pressure you into buying one if it wasn't you. But I feel like I got a notification the other day that somebody named Eugene bought a shirt. And if it wasn't you, then my apologies. But if it was you, then thank you. But yes, and that's why I do like when I hope that people will buy the shirt in other cities, because I want other cities to see that this shit more than a game too. We all know it's in New Orleans and Louisiana. We know that this shit more than a game, right? We're born into it, embedded by it, embraced by it. We absorb it. People in Philadelphia may not know that, so sometimes we gotta let these motherfuckers know. Excuse the language, but this shit more than a game. I wish Reggie had a great career too, but Reggie's also in my top 10 because I was just so hyped. Like, he was a superstar coming out of college, and for us to have grabbed him, especially after Katrina, we needed that. So I appreciate the shit out of what Reggie Bush did for his career. Okay, so Eugene said he was not that Eugene, but hey, I appreciate that. Hey, take your time, Eugene. Like, I'm not, I don't feel like people need to buy a shirt right away. We all got bills to pay. We all got other responsibilities in our life, but I do appreciate any and everybody who has bought a shirt, and I appreciate any and everybody who will buy a shirt. And again, folks, you can buy the shirt right here. If you put in wherever you're watching from a computer, you could use your phone, scan the barcode. The website will come right on up. Or you can go to the link right here, which is jonobarnes.shop.fortwall.com. Or if you just go on my Twitter, if you go on my Facebook, if you go on my TikTok, if you go on my Instagram, if you go on my Threads, if you go on my Blue Sky, if you go on my Spill, all them damn apps, I'm Jono Barnes on every app, and every app in my bio, or even in the description below on YouTube, I have the link Click it. $28.03. This shit more than a game is a lifestyle brand, folks. So not only can you wear it for the season, which I'm sure a lot of you guys will, but you can also wear it 24/7, 365 days out the year. It's a very comfortable shirt. Like if you guys, like I plan on this year, you might get into it with a opposing fan, right? I'm going to Houston and Minnesota this year for my road games. Sometimes you got to let these mother people know this shit more than the game, right? Sometimes the white people say the fisticuffs might fly. Man, this shirt is so comfortable. The quality is so high. The stitching is so seamless that when you're punching one of these opposing fans, it's going to feel like you're wearing nothing at all. It's going to make the impact from the fist to the body part feel like nothing. So it's a great fighting shirt too. And you might need that one day because this shit more than a game. So I looked out for you guys. I appreciate the love, folks. So one more break. And speaking of road games, if you are going on a road game this year, or if you are going to a Saints game this year, or hell, if you are going to any event, you might want to check out and use this promo code to save you a little bit of money. It's a gift just for you for being a fan. Are you going to a sports game or a concert or any major event? Well, buy your tickets from SeatGeek and use the promo code JONO at checkout, and you can receive $20 off your purchase over $50. That's $20 off your purchase. What are you waiting for? You know this shit more than a game, man. So not only am I asking you guys for money technically, I guess, by buying a t-shirt, but again, if you are planning on going to any Saints game this year, any Pelicans game, any event, if you're going to the Monster Truck show, if you're going to the Taylor Swift show, if you're going to Beyonce, any show, if you buy your tickets on SeatGeek and you use the code JONO at checkout, you will save $20 on any order over $50 or more. So I'm trying to save you guys money. And with that $20 you save, you know what you can do with it? You can buy this shit more than the game t-shirt, right? We all win. Yay. So that concludes our show today, folks. I appreciate you guys joining me very randomly on Friday afternoon. I know you guys are all excited. We're about to get our weekend started. We are all in good moods. Cam Jordan is a Saint for life. Alvin Kamara only got 3 games. Life is good as a Saints fan, right? The Saints play football next Sunday, folks. Football is back. I'm excited, man. This is that time of the year where every fan base of all 32 teams has that optimism, right? You might as well enjoy it because by week 2, week 3, half of those fan bases, maybe even ours, is going to lose that optimism. But this is the time right now for peak optimism. So enjoy these next few weeks, folks. Enjoy that endless hope that this might be the year for your team, because I damn sure is. I know I say all those things about Dennis Allen, but I'm not trying to discourage or discredit anybody who has any high hopes for the team. Believe in the team. Hell, maybe we might go to a Super Bowl. I know one thing. We all going to be cheering along the way. Why? Because this shit more than the game. Mikey, I've slept on the couch so many times by now, I'm used to it. But my wife just needs to understand that this shit is more than the game, okay? So, Mikey, if you go to the Giants game, you got to get a shirt. I hope that your people allow you. Because, again, it's not a curse word, technically. The T is up for interpretation. The fleur-de-lis can mean anything. So if your mom or your dad say they don't want you wearing a shirt with a curse word, say, mama, it's this shy more than a game. Sorry if you think the fleur-de-lis is a curse word or a T, but it could be whatever you want it to be. Tell them to use their imaginations. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you guys for enjoying this live stream. Thank you guys for participating in the chat. Again, I have kept my word so far that I will be doing a lot more live streams and podcasts this year, and I am going to try to keep myself committed to that. And it will not be possible without the support of each and every single one of you. So shout out to you, Eugene. Shout out to you, Mikey. Shout out to you, Valente. Shout out to Jerry. And I know a lot of people have to probably clock out because can't everybody just be watching John Barnes for 1 hour. But we had a lot of people in the chat today, and I appreciate every single one of you guys. Again, enjoy your weekend, and always let the people know, folks, what? That this shit more than a game. Thank you, Roger Goodell. I don't think I've ever said that before, but thank you for going easy on Alvin Kamara. And one last time, Cam Jordan. Thank you, Mikey. One last time, Cam Jordan, congratulations. We are absolutely proud. On behalf of the whole city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana, you are a Saint for life. You are ours for life. I mean that in the most respectful way possible. And you are indeed one of the greatest New Orleans Saints of all times. Cheers to Cam Jordan, folks. Hope you guys have a great weekend. I will see you guys soon. This shit more than the game, man. This shit more than the game. Y'all have a good one. Oh, come on, man. Tackle him. You know what you're doing. You hold him in the tackle.
This shit more than a game, man!
Ah, yes, we've all been there before. This shit is more than a game, man. And now, these shirts are more than a game. But did you know that this merch wasn't made only for sportswear? No sirree. This shit more than a game is a lifestyle brand. You can wear the shirts for anything, such as going shopping, working out,
This shit more than a game!
doing chores, setting the mood,
Oh, yeah, that's that thing I like.
changing a tire, robbing a bank,
Go, 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 go!
jumping a Falcons fan, and so much more. So purchase your official This Shit More Than a Game merch today for the low starting point of $28.03 and let the world know this shit more than a game. Warning, please see a doctor if you feel you've gone too far with taking this shit more than a game. This Shit More Than a Game is not associated or licensed with any organization or entity except for Dwayne Barnes LLC. This Shit More Than a Game is not responsible for any fights caused by the shirts. Dwayne Barnes LLC does not promote or recommend violence of any kind unless it's at the expense of a Falcons fan.